Easy creamy cheesecake. Start by bringing all your dairy to room temperature, 3/4 cup sour cream, 2/3 cup heavy cream, 4 large eggs, 2 pounds or 4 blocks of cream cheese. We're going to make our crust out of graham cracker cookies. So I'm going to use 2 sleeves of graham cracker cookies and I'm adding them to my food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender to crush these down, or if you have neither, you can put them into a Ziploc bag and you can roll over them and beat them with a rolling pin. We're going to take our fine cookie crumbs and add them to a spring form pan. Now we're going to add to that 2.5 tablespoons of sugar, and yes, you can cut that amount back. And then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is optional, I enjoy it. Mix this in very gently, and then we're going to take half a stick of butter, melt it down, and then drizzle half of that amount over our cookie crumbs. Using just the fork, go ahead and work these in. We're looking for the consistency of wet beach sand. It shouldn't be really damp. And then we're going to add in the rest of our butter and again work it in. Now, once our butter is worked into our crumbs, go ahead and just semi-flatten it out with your fork. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then using anything with a flat bottom, I'm just using a drinking glass. I'm going to start from the center and I'm going to press down going towards the edge. I'm compacting the cookie butter mixture and I'm making a solid base. Once you have the bottom done, begin working on the sides and then use your fingers to press it firmly against the side. Take your glass and catch any pieces that came off in the crumble. Get it all nice and compacted. I'm going to then put it into a high-sided pan like a roaster. This is going in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. Then while it's cooling, we're going to go ahead and work on our filling. I'm using my stand mixer. You can use a large bowl and a hand mixer. So I'm going to add all 4 blocks of cream cheese to the bowl of my stand mixer. I have cut them into chunks to make it a little easier. I'm going to use the paddle attachment and I'm going to blend for 1 minute at speed 1 and then for 4 minutes at speed 4. Every once in a while, you're going to need to come through with a rubber spatula and knock some of the mixture down. After 4 minutes, we're going to add in 1.5 cups of sugar. I've backed the speed down to a level 1 to avoid throwing sugar all over the kitchen. Once our 1.5 cups of sugar are in, blend for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and 3 teaspoons of vanilla. Then we're going to go ahead and mix for another 2 minutes. Then we're going to go with our eggs. We're going to add an egg, blend for a minute, a second egg, blend for a minute, and then we're going to continue. So after each egg, we're going to blend 1 full minute before we add another egg. With our 4th egg in, I'm going to go ahead and stop the machine to add my sour cream. Go ahead and add all of your sour cream in, and then we're going to blend for 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, we're going to go ahead and drizzle in our heavy cream. This will make a mess, so go slow. Once our heavy cream has all been added, we are going to blend for 2 minutes. We now have a very silky batter. This is the final step for a basic cheesecake, and now we can go ahead and move on to adding flavors. I'm making chocolate, so I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, a teaspoon of vanilla, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. Mix these two together, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of a light tasting oil. This is extra virgin olive oil, and get that mixed in. Then we're going to add 1 more teaspoon of a very light oil and mix that in. We don't want to use water. We don't want any extra liquid in our cheesecake. We're going to add 2 good-sized scoops of our cheesecake batter to our cocoa powder mixture and begin to work that in. Once it's pretty well incorporated, I'm going to switch to an electric whisk. You can do this by hand or in your stand mixer, and our chocolate is ready to go. Cheesecake gets water bathed. I'm going to use a silicone cake pan to place my spring form pan in to make sure that no water actually touches my cheesecake. If you don't have a silicone pan, wrap your spring form in 4 to 5 layers of foil. So now I'm ready to start adding my cheesecake batter. In this case, I'm going to alternate it, and then I'm just going to swirl my chocolate into vanilla and vanilla into my chocolate. Then in the next layer, I'm going to put in my vanilla where my chocolate was and my chocolate where my vanilla was. My top layer is going to be all vanilla, Add a few dollops of chocolate right on top, and then I'm going to swirl that chocolate and vanilla until I think it looks good. Now we're going to add boiling water to the roasting pan, making sure no water touches our spring form pan. This is then ready to go into the oven at 325 for 90 minutes. Give it a jiggle to test if it's done. Turn the oven off, prop the door open, and we're going to allow this to cool completely. Once it's fully cool, we're going to wrap it in foil and place it in the fridge for at least 4 hours to overnight. Once cooled, we'll notice that the cake has pulled away completely from the edges of the pan. We're going to release the spring and carefully take off the pan. All that's left to do now is admire our handiwork and then cut, serve, and enjoy.